Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
I'm your little butterfly. Green, black, and blue make the colors in the sky. Welcome to the BM show.
Welcome to the BN show. Dun, dun, dun.
We got a special guest tonight. We have the T1000, almost dead.
Dun, 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 dun.
Barrett decided to join us when he heard this topic tonight because we know that Barrett's got some definite good input for this one. The Barrett is the most non-opinionated person you will ever meet in your life. So I'm sure you struggled with this list.
Quick thing. There's a Adam Carolla has a whole comedy routine, and I think it's genius. It's stuff that only rich people and poor people have to deal with, or know about, or care about. And he was listening, and it's like some of them was like the rise on the rise on the minimum wage. Well, rich people care about it because they have to pay it, and poor people care about it because they're probably getting minimum wage. Those type of examples, right?
Mhm.
And one of them was, if you drive a car that doesn't exist anymore, like a car brand that is no longer around. And I was thinking about this today because I bought a car this week. And that's why, if anybody's wondering why the videos are not as, like the video came out today and didn't come out on Friday, it was because I was busy buying a car. I bought a Pontiac. Pontiacs haven't been made since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if so I'm buying a car brand that isn't made anymore. Does that make me rich or poor?
It makes you struggling to find replacement parts.
No, it's a GM.
Okay.
So I'll be fine. It's because like when 2009, that's when they did the bailout for the cars, for the car companies, and they had to kill off all the dead weight. So what GM did is they killed off a bunch of their brands, and one of the brands that got killed was Pontiac. It was a redundant brand anyways. There's like a lot of because all they were doing anyways, they were just taking Chevys and making the Chevy, like mine is, I got a Pontiac Torrent, which is the same as a Chevy Equinox. And I did some research on it. And the only real difference is it has a sportier tuning to the transmission, and the engine have a sportier tuning to them, I guess. Or the suspension and the transmission have sportier tuning to them. Because Pontiacs are known for being sport cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you could go for the fact that, like, take my instrument problem, and the fact that I'm a lot more into extended range instruments. So there's a lot of more, rarer instruments that I have to deal with. Does that make me rich or poor? Because, man, it's hard to find strings and stuff for all that stuff because it's so rare.
Yeah, see, if you've got a car, for example, where it is harder to find parts and you still hold on to it, and that is still you're driving, that you're still using the car, or in your case, the instrument, that might be a sign that you're on the other side of the spectrum where you're rich, Michael.
Yeah, but I'm poor as well too, because let me tell you, I had to recently, one of the strings snapped on my mandolin, the 10-string one.
Yeah.
And
I don't see poor people talking about their mandolin. But go ahead.
okay. So luckily the strings actually use guitar strings because they have the ball rather than the hook on the end.
Yep.
So I could find a replacement for that specific one, but I went to go buy a set of strings, which the set is $10. So it's not that bad. You can only get it on this one site, the same site that sells this mandolin. Their shipping is $11.50. And so the shipping is more than the set of strings itself.
Yeah, that happens a lot. When I run into that though, I would just buy multiple sets of the strings and just make it worth your while, because if it's the same shipping, I mean, you're gonna need strings down the road too.
Well, I paid like $1.25 for the replacement string. Now,
But on string, I would have bought. Okay, I would have bought the string I needed along with like another set if they're charging $11 for ship.
I can't buy separate strings off the site, so I had to go to a music store to buy the separate string. But I thought about it, if it's $1.25 and I need 10 of them, I could probably Frankenstein a set of strings easier than buying the set itself. The problem though is, can I find the right size, especially for the low C string set on the mandolin itself?
Mm.
Because it's not a normal, it's not really a normal guitar string size. But if I could, I mean, I could probably put together a set for, $14 versus the 21.50 that I had to pay for the actual set.
Hmm.
The question is if I can do that or not.
You got a lot of questions to deal with.
But we got a lot to do. We got to focus down. We got a lot to do because we're doing special episodes after these episodes. We got to make sure to have enough time to do that since Barrett's with us, because he has to work.
What movies are we doing next week? Let's talk about that now.
We're not doing movies next week.
Okay, cool. Because I haven't watched any of them yet. All right.
No.
We're doing movies the following week.
We're doing movies the following week. Yes.
Okay. So what's
That-
next week then? There's 5 Sundays in this month? Huh.
There's 5 Sundays in this month. Yes. So next week is your favorite life loopholes or loopholes in general.
Oh, okay, okay. And then the following week we're doing movies. Okay.
The Thanksgiving special movie one. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, but let's kind of get started on, because we have a mini topic here that I wanted to throw out. So we haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought it's time for a quick question for you guys. And I'll ask the question, then I'm gonna throw my answer out, and I want to hear your guys' answer. Here's the question. Name a system, or I guess I should ask this in a question format. What is a system that when it was out was pretty much the perfect system? It was absolutely exceptional. That was then. Now it is completely worthless.
Oh, you told me you were gonna ask this one.
Yes. So, I mean, it gives you guys a few to think while I mention my answer. So my answer is simply the PSP. When the PSP came out, and it wasn't because of PSP games. When the PSP came out, it was an emulation dream system. Because when you got the one with firmware of 1.5, you could just throw emulators on the stick. Like Sony probably didn't care. They probably only upgraded the firmware because they got hassled into having to do it because it was selling units. But you could just throw the emulators on there and they just boot right up. And I went crazy on that thing, and I got a 4 gig Pro Duo stick when they were still like $175. I actually ended up picking up a couple of them because I had so much stuff that was loading on it, and it fulfilled one of the dreams I always had as a kid, which was to play Super Mario Brothers while on the toilet. And I actually beat the time. I remember the time I beat World 1-1 while I was on the toilet. Man, it was great. I was so happy. But you fast forward to now, and there are so many of these handheld devices that run Android emulation, and they're now, bigger screens of the PSP, and they run the PSP, and they run everything the PSP would have run. So it's like, I remember my time with the PSP because it was a great system. I didn't play any PSP games, but I used the crap out of it for emulation. But now it's just a relic that sits on my shelf, and I never touch it. I don't see any reason to actually ever boot it up. I know the battery has been dead for a long time, and there's no point to it. So that's my entry on the list.
Okay. Barrett?
So,
Yeah, so actually mine's similar, and I'm gonna say the Game Boy.
ooh, okay.
And I say that because when it came out, I mean, it's maybe a stretch to say perfect, but I feel like it had the overall best blend. Like, yeah, Game Gear had color screen, but like I feel like that was too much of a sacrifice, right? The fact that like it required 6 batteries and it blew through them in like record time. Whereas I feel like everything else about the Game Boy made it so that it was the best thing. Like if you wanted entertainment on the go, it was the only reasonable option. But now, similar to what you're saying, now we have thousands of portable devices that are infinitely better.
Mm.
And so it's like there's no reason to ever go back to Game Boy.
Well, that's an interesting one because Nintendo really shot themselves in the foot on that note because then they had the Game Boy Color, which made the Game Boy useless. Then you get the Game Boy Advance, which also does Game Boy and Game Boy Color, which makes now the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color useless.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, so they kind of started the whole thing, I guess, in a way you could say. But yeah, definitely by now, it's just there's no reason to go back. Like I wouldn't even go back to like a DS or anything like that because I mean, like you were talking about emulation, and my phone does all that stuff. It emulates and it plays modern games, and it gets like crazy long battery life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I remember I had a Game Gear. This is like a couple years after it came out. It would still be they would still sell them at at game stores though. And I had to get the power adapter and play it with the power adapter because it just ate through battery so fast. But I had the Game Boy as well, and the Game Boy was just like the batteries would last forever.
Dude, I could see you as a kid wearing like the Sega shirt with the Sega hat. You got in the shower, you grabbed your Sega towel to dry off, dude. You were so Sega.
I had a Sega bath mat too. You forgot about that.
Sega love pillow too.
It's I like the examples that you guys have here. I also like the fact that nobody said the one that I was gonna use. And that is the PlayStation 1. And the PlayStation 1, this like I never had one when it was out, but I do remember like how it just crushed everything. And it was like the greatest system, and everybody loved the PlayStation 1 until the PlayStation 2 came out and it was fully backwards compatible. And the PlayStation 3 came out and it was also fully backwards compatible with PlayStation 1 games. Um, all of a sudden it became why would you buy a PlayStation 1 when you could just buy a PlayStation 2 and get the same game catalog, another game catalog, and play movies on it?
Well, that's interesting because if you think about all three of our examples, mine's not direct, but your guys' are direct. Backwards compatibility is what's killing things.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that's not a bad thing. It's like, take my Xbox, for instance. I had the Xbox One, and then they came out with the Series Xbox, which I have the Series X. And I looked at it as I'm just taking out my old box, putting my new box in, and I still get to play all the same games. And then the same thing now with Nintendo, where I got the Switch 2, and almost I could just play the Switch 1 games on it. And it's just you're just taking out the old version of the box and putting a new box in. And now you have a new Nintendo box. You have a new Microsoft box. But it's gonna last Microsoft box. I don't care if they're coming out with a new one. After the way they've done this fucking I'm sorry, I got so the way they handled it lately with Xbox, I am done with them. I will buy a PlayStation 6, possibly, maybe, depending on how they're doing as well, or I might just go full blown into PC gaming because right now it's like there's no exclusives anymore. And not that I was a big fan of exclusives to begin with. I actually do wish that one day that there would be a system that plays everything, but it's like, well, then why am I buying your system if you don't have exclusives on it? If all your stuff's going to end up on PlayStation anyways, and PlayStation has been ruling the roost forever, and I've been using Xbox simply because they're usually cheaper, but now they're the more expensive system too, so they even ruin that. It's like, why am I backing you? Why am I going to buy another one of your systems? I think the Series X is just going to be the system I'll hold on to, and it'll just be my Xbox system, and then I'll just upgrade the other systems along the way as they release new ones.
And I
But
really,
yeah, like, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I really think that when you're talking about that, PlayStation's not going to be around too long, because I think it's really breaking down to PC versus Nintendo. And that's really it, because Nintendo's not giving up their first party stuff. And Xbox and PlayStation, it's slowly going over to PC.
It's going to end up eventually being, there will be services instead of system, and you're going to have the Xbox service and the PlayStation service, and you could pick which one you want to use or use both, and you'll just have to have a computer that reaches certain specifications, or they'll have a thing where you pay a little bit extra and you can play off of their system through the internet, which works like shit, by the way. And so those will be your options, and that's going to be what's going to be happening down the line. They're still going to have their systems, but the systems will be more like, if you don't want to pay for a PC and you don't want to play the game over the internet, here's a machine that will do it locally for you with our branding on it. It only will play our stuff, or maybe it'll play both of them. I don't know. So like, that's the thing, is like, Forza Horizon 5 is available on the PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, what? No. Like, I heard, like, when you hear it in the news, it's one thing, but when you actually see it and you're like, really? Like, I don't mind the show being on every system, because there has to be a baseball game on the systems, and if nobody else is willing to make it, and Sony's making a baseball game, then they're the ones that are going to be all over the place because of their agreement with Major League Baseball. But to see The Last of Us show up on an Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
or Uncharted show up on an Xbox, like, the Xbox can handle it. It's a strong machine, but it's just like the branding. It's like I don't want to compare it to Mario showing up on the Xbox, because that would be even like a bigger thing. Like, it's more believable that you will see Uncharted on Xbox, and you will see The Last of Us on Xbox, and you will see the new Halo come out on both systems, maybe at the same time, or maybe Xbox will get a 6-month exclusive window or something along those lines. And that's what it's going to be. It's no longer going to be exclusives. It's just going to be on Xbox first, on PlayStation first, and you'll have 6-month windows, or a year-long window, or something like along those lines. Unless the game talks, then they will get exclusive rights, because the other guy won't want it.
The bad thing about that, though, is you get the your Halo out 6 months early on Xbox, and then when it comes time to go PlayStation, is now Halo the definitive edition on PlayStation, and then you're like, well, I just bought the Xbox version because it came out earlier.
Yeah, they'll have it where you can upgrade to the special edition on the Xbox as well, because they're still going to treat their system better. It's going to be like The Last of Us Part 3. I don't know how 2 ends, so maybe there is no Part 3 if possible, but The Last of Us will have like, or okay, let's use Halo because we're talking about that. Halo will come out for Xbox. It'll be Halo 7, and Halo 7 there'll be an exclusive character or an extra mission that's only on the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the stuff you're gonna see. They'll hold on to exclusive bonuses for shit, and then even that'll eventually go away too, because it's like, that's the way it's going. It's just they're both leading into one format where it should be probably the way it is. It's always gone down to two. There's always been two brands that competing, and you ain't moving Nintendo. Nintendo's like, they're the only ones holding fast to their IP. Everybody else is like, whatever, fuck our company, pay me, So, but yeah, so that's my soapbox. I'll get off of it, and we can get going on what we're doing.
The topic. Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about what I call the unforgivable sin. This is anything in a game, be it a setting, be it an element in the gameplay, be it the fact that the box is the wrong color, it doesn't matter. But it doesn't necessarily have to make the game bad. It can, and a lot of times it probably does. but it's something that when you hit that, it's just unforgivable to you. No matter if the devs came to your house and begged and pleaded and said they're sorry, you would still look at them and said that was the stupidest idea that anyone could ever do. That's our topic tonight. Now I want to talk about, I'm going to start it off with the reason this topic came to mind. But to do that, we have to go back in time a little bit to an episode that was called The Good, the Bad, and the Not So Scary. So back in, well, I think that was a Halloween week one. So not too long ago. So we're actually going to do a little flashback segment here so that we can go back and see what I said about that video. So here we go, Ben, queuing up the flashback. And the next one that I want to mention, I'm going to put this one on the bad list. This is called Countdown Vampires. It's for PlayStation. And I don't really want to get into a lot of the detail into what makes it bad, because that's something I'm going to save for a topic at a later date. And now we're on that date. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to show that game again.
Yes, because you pulled it up again because you were using archival footage from our show minutes ago, and this is
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly. So Countdown Vampires. Let's talk about what brought about the Unforgivable sin. Countdown Vampires is a survival horror game. It's one of the knockoff survival horror games during the PlayStation era. And I was like eating these games up left and right because I loved Resident Evil so much. This was the game that put a stop to it. And the thing that it did that was, there's a lot of things that probably did so bad, but the thing that did that was so bad, I've seen it happen in survival horror games all the time. One of the games I listed was a not so scary one on that list, which I absolutely love. Does this as well. Countdown Vampires does this in spades. That is, you have unlimited ammo. Stop respawning your monster so much. Countdown Vampires, it's like you find the next key, everything's respawned. You go to the room next door, everything's respawned. And it just gets absolutely ridiculous in the fact that I'm sitting here counting my bullets and you're sitting here going, well, we just decided to populate the map again, so enjoy. I've only seen like one survival horror game, if it's really classified survival horror, handle this well. And that is actually, ironically, Parasite Eve 2, which I'm not too big on because it had the ammo box. And all you had to do was find the best path to get to the ammo box, and then you can go back and clear everything out. But it's just, I cannot stand when I have to monitor my items so well and they just say, well, we'll just repopulate everything again. And it's going to take 10 shots to take one zombie or vampire down. And we'll give you a clip for 12 shots after you kill 17 of them.
Mm.
So that's my entry.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I feel much better after saying that one. So forget this game. All right, so now I am passing the mic over to Barrett.
Okay, so my first thing is it really pisses me off when we have a game where it has a tedious tutorial thing that you either can't skip, or it's like you can technically skip, but it's really invasive. Like it's one of those games where you're playing and like every 2 seconds there's some pop-up that comes on the screen that you have to like break what you're doing. Please stop.
Listen.
All right, Bree, bro, there's a game. Let me share that one.
But anyway, yeah, and the thing is, it's not necessarily just that. This is a two-parter. So the first part is that it has that tutorial stuff, right? But what makes it unforgivable to me is when the game waste my time with tutorials for obvious things, like just basic genre stuff, and then doesn't tell me the unique features to the game that I have no way of knowing otherwise. Like there's been a lot of times where I played a game, and I'm struggling to think right now of an example, but I know that lately I played a bunch of games where it has all that kind of stuff going on, and it's like, "Gosh, come on, quit, leave me alone," right? But then I get stuck, and I have to leave. I have to like close out of the game and go, or open up another computer to like read like a in-depth walkthrough to try to figure out what is going on here, because after like umpteen zillion pop-ups, they never told me about this like weird little crafting system that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I get to a part where I gotta like craft my upgrades, and I have no idea what's going on. Even though there's like a million games that have crafting systems, but this game decided they're gonna completely rewrite the book on crafting.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, why wouldn't you tell me that? Like, have a pop-up for that. Don't have a pop-up for, oh, WSAD to move. Like, I know that. It's not my first rodeo.
Mm-hmm. And we usually have that after you actually started moving.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, right? Usually like be like, you know, into the game, and then they're like, oh, by the way, did you know you could use the keyboard to move? Like, oh.
Oh yeah, and I've got an example of that that's just as bad. It's not 100% on target with that, but it's just as bad. Like if you're playing an RPG and you get the message at the end of the battle, here's your experience, here's your goal. It's like John leveled up to level 41. Stats increased by this, this, and this. John learned the spell Nevax. What the fudge is Nevax?
Yeah.
And you don't have a booklet anymore. There's nothing in the game that talks about the spells, except for the description says cast the spell Nevax. I don't know what this is, so I'm never going to use it. Maybe that's why it's called Nevax. Never going to use it.
Yeah.
You guys good?
Yeah, we're really good. You're up, Ben.
Okay. So every year I buy the WWE game. And I used to buy it when the thing came out, but now I buy it when when it hits the first sale, which is usually around WrestleMania. So it used to be that if you buy the deluxe edition, you get all the characters unlocked.
Mhm.
Until they introduced this thing called My Faction. Now they have a thing called My Faction where you buy virtual not even playing cards, collector cards. And if you get the right collector card, you'll unlock that superstar. Basically making it what's the loot box? It's like a loot box.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know if you're going to get all the people or not. And what pisses me off about this is that I went in, especially this year with the 2K25, I bought the full edition, and I'm expecting to get all the characters, and then I'm hearing about all these new characters that they're coming out with, but you have to go and either find them in My Faction, which there's the chance you'll probably never get them, or there's other times when it's like you have to go and do this thing called the island, and then there's certain stuff in the island you have to pay for, and you have to have your online in order to do that. And it's like everything's all behind further money doors, and you don't even know if you're going through the right door. It's like you might get it, you might not get it. Well, you're having fun though, right? It's like, no, I'm not in this to fucking collect Topps playing card, or I'm not here to collect cards. I'm here.
Is it like a gotcha game?
What's that?
Is it like a gotcha game?
No, actually, what you do is you get the cards, and then you have what's called My Faction, and you can put together a group, and then you can use them in matches. And then if you win the matches using your group under certain rules, playing online, you unlock points, and you can use those points to buy cards. But the points don't accrue very fast. Oh, if you pay money though,
Mm-hmm.
you will accrue points faster. And that's where the loot box shit comes in, because technically it's not a full on loot box, because you can play for free, but it'll take you forever. And I don't do any of it. I don't play the My Faction at all. They give away free cards every once in a while, so I'll grab them. And I've never ever had a superstar unlocked from getting one of the free cards. And they're like, well, if you just go and do it, you can unlock like elite this and elite that. And then there's like, now there's wrestlers who aren't in the game otherwise. It used to be that you would get certain superstars, but like you already had them and you would just get like a different version of them. And I don't give a shit. But now they're doing people who are like, classic legend superstars. And the only way you can get them is if you happen to get it as part of the Elite loot box card deals over in the My Faction. And I bring this up, and you're gonna say, "Well, fuck wrestling. I don't watch that, and I don't care about it." They do the same thing in John Madden football, and they're doing it in other sports games too. It's a sports thing, and also they do it with Call of Duty, but they do it with weapons instead of characters. You know, they're doing it in all these games now, where there's some level where they want you to pay more money for the chance of possibly getting more things in the game, and there's certain things you can only get in the game if you do it through the loot box system.
That
Whatever the loot box system is called in your particular game.
that does sound like a gotcha game, and I just want to I want to say this really quick, just a note on that, and I'm sure Barrett's going to back me up. If you make a game a gotcha game, that's unforgivable as well too.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't see Nintendo doing this where they're like, oh, well, there's 60 characters available in this Mario game, but only 4 is available when you get it. You can either play through the game and take forever to get them, or possibly with money, you might have a chance to get these characters. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's like when they have these games, they release it, and then you get the DLC, and the DLC is like 4 kilobytes. You think, why is it 4 kilobytes? Because it's stuff you already have it on your system. They're just telling you to turn it on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hate that. It's like, if it's on my system already, I should have access to it.
Are you good, Ben?
I'm good.
Feel better?
I feel better.
All right. All right, here we go. My turn. Let me bring this one up. This is actually a twofer. I can't even spell it. So this is going to be a 2-for-1 deal for this one. If I can get an image, you know what? We'll just give this site, and I'm sure we'll get stricken down because of whose name is showing on it. Cosmic Fantasy 2. Now, Cosmic Fantasy, the series is not good. I pushed my way through the first one just so I could play the second one because I had it for a while. I just didn't get around to it, and I figured I had to beat the first one to really get the gist of the second one. So the 2 for here, the one that's a minor thing, is everything gets an attack first. That's a really cheap way to increase your difficulty. When you go into battle and it's like bat 1 attacks, bat 2 attacks, bat 3 attacks, bat 4 attacks. Okay, now you can put in your first attack options. That bugs me, but that's minor. As unforgivable that is, that's minor compared to the next thing. The next thing is you've been playing your game for a while and you've been saving it, and there's a couple data slots in this game. Then you click new game on accident and a question pops up. It was a yes no question, and if you choose no, it takes you back to the main menu. Okay, great. You can then choose continue. If you choose yes, it takes you to the new game. You guys ready to know what the question is? Now keep in mind, there's 2 data slots, okay? The question is, would you like to initialize your save data? So if you choose new game and you're not paying attention and you hit yes, you just wiped your whole save game out. Even though there's multiple save slots, everything you did is gone and you have to start over from the beginning. That should not exist. That should never exist when you have multiple save slots. And that happened to me.
Yeah. That leads me into something like and not just in gaming, but in programs together, is when they give you the default option, and it's usually the option you probably don't really want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, do you want to delete your hard drive? And it's just on yes.
Exactly. Do what it auto defaults to yes.
But then you get the opposite where you're like playing, say we made fun of Ocarina of Time when they go on that again. Whenever you talk to the owl, and default you to the thing that'll make the owl repeat what he just said,
Yes. Oh yeah.
which I
That,
think that.
that's bad too.
Yeah, but I'm always trying to rush through that because I've only beaten the game like a dozen times. It's not like I need to see this again.
Yeah. It's worse when I'm playing and I'm 6 hours in and I make one wrong choice and now I'm 0 hours in.
Yep. Oh yeah, I've done that too, where I've copied over a save file before, or shit like that, and you're like, what the fuck? Ah.
At least that's on you. This one's on the developers for putting it this way.
Yeah, they worded it wrong.
Yeah. All right, Barrett.
It sounds like do you want to initialize your save file? It sounds like, do we want to use it? And not, do you want to use it for a new game? You want to use it to use that save,
Do you want to wipe out everything you've done and not be able to retrieve it because you're starting a brand new game?
Yeah.
That's how it should be worded. And it should give you, are you sure you want to do this?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Barrett.
Okay. So my next one is when games tease cooler stuff, but then it turns out the other stuff that you thought you were going to be able to do is just background, and you don't get to actually do that. And my example, I don't know whether you want to bring it up for this, but it is Space Marine 2.
Okay, I don't know which one Space Marine 2 is, so Space Marine 2.
Like, it's all these, everything that you found here is all that.
Okay,
Well, like, this game has several points at which, like, you're in this larger battle, right? This is Warhammer 40K, right? So it's all about big battles, right? And then these giant battles, all the stuff's going on. But mechanically, it's all just like window dressing, right? Like, it's in another layer beyond like the arena area, the hallway or whatever that your player is in. And so you can't interact with the other stuff, and it doesn't affect anything. And it's like, and so the actual game that you get to play is just a basic corridor kind of thing. Like, even like a 90s game. Like, it's very, very 90s. And it's like, why are you doing this to me? And that's why I actually prefer Space Marine 1, because Space Marine 1, even though it's an older game, a lot older, it's from like 2005 or 6 or something like that. But at least like it is more honest about what it is, that it's just like a basic action game. And they don't tease you with like, oh, there's this other stuff. It's like, no. You're in an area and there's like, I don't know, 20 orcs or whatever, and you fight those 20 orcs, and then you move to the next area.
Yeah.
Then whereas like here's a real example is like the end of this game. The end of this game, like all hell breaks loose, demons come out from hell, and like this big giant avatar thing that's like the head priest of the demon like comes out, and it's like 1,000 feet tall. Like it's this massive like godlike being, and it's just like throwing down crazy spells or whatever, and then it like casts other spells to spawn in more demons, and there's hordes of like 50,000 of these things rushing at you. And you think like, oh, okay, this is it. This is what it's all been building up to, right? This is the final battle. Like, we're going all in. No. Instead, the game forces you to go down a corridor to the side. So you don't even face that whole big battle, right? You don't even interact with the giant demon. Nothing, right? Instead, you go into a room and you do the same thing that you've been doing the whole game. Like, a few dudes spawn in the room, you shoot the like 3 dudes or so, and then you flip a little switch. And that switch basically wins the day. And it's like, oh, you finished the game, yeah.
So I think I have a good way to word this. Tell me if this sounds right. The game is basically the NPCs in the background are saying, hey, Barrett, we're over here playing chess, but why don't you go enjoy your checkers game that you're doing?
Yeah. It's a great way of putting it.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
You get that build up to about something amazing is about to happen, and then it's just, nah, just do the same thing you've been doing the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
it's
got
like, how tease me with that. And it's especially unforgivable in this day and age because like the technology exists to have those like big battles. Like I played other games where, like you get in some crazy thing and it's like a giant free for all and you're fighting like tons and tons of dudes. It's like, so it's not like we're in days where computers can't do this anymore. Like they can do that. And so like, why are you teasing me with this? And then like, no, you're not going to actually get to participate in that.
Here's another way to put it. Instead of using checker and chess, hey, we're over here playing Warhammer 40,000, but go over there, enjoy your game of Advanced Boardwalk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go.
I
All right. I think, Ben,
never played Warhammer. What is Warhammer?
it's a tabletop war skirmish game where you're gonna likely spend about $3,000 to $4,000 on your army, which you have to then spend hours and hours painting, to litter the board with little miniatures and roll a whole bunch of dice and check range and figure out people are in cover and all this other crazy war stuff. Now, I say it like it sounds bad. It's not really a bad game. It's just a very time consuming and money pit.
Okay, and what's the video game version? Or the video game version is you collecting these miniature pieces and painting?
The video game, it's just your typical third person, it's like Gears of War kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if that was the game, though. The game was you are getting these miniature collectible things and you got to paint them and pay all this money.
Oh, there are games like that. Like that is a thing. That's
Yeah.
not for Warhammer, but that is the thing.
It's like a Second Life thing when you can't afford the real thing, which 99.99% of the people in the world cannot afford Warhammer.
Oh yeah, that's why I play the video games. Like I love the tabletop, and and I'll drool over other people's armies. But yeah, there's no way that I'm doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
All right, Ben.
I hate it when a game has the same controls for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden they come out with Origins, and that screws the whole thing up. No,
I got your game right here.
yeah, it's not the game.
But it is. Okay, what's the game you're talking about?
Assassin's Creed.
I figured it was.
Yeah. Like they did literally like 12 versions of this game in a row. Pick the one that's got like the like fourth over. Okay. There was like one that had like a bunch of them. Fourth.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, there you go. But that actually pretty much covers all the ones that use the traditional controls other than Valhalla.
They're all big later.
Use the newer controls. Oh, get a better picture. That looks like crap. Never mind.
No, dude, let's leave it looking like crap.
Okay. Yeah, but it's like from Assassin's Creed 2 all the way till what was the last one they come out with the proper controls? So when it came out right before Unity, I think it was like I'm looking at it here. Is it not Brotherhood? Where was it? It was the one that had all the screw ups. Oh no, it was the one where they were in England. It was the brother and sister. I don't remember the name of it. But the up until then it had the same controls. You hold the A button and you go forward and you press forward and you're running, and then when you make it to a building, you'll start climbing up the building automatically, and you release the A button, you stop climbing, that type of thing.
Mhm.
Now it's like hitting the trigger made you run, but you had to hit another button if you wanted to climb, and then the A button now became an action button, and then it's like it screwed up my muscle memory on it, and it just took me out of the game because now I had to relearn how to play a game I thought I knew how to play. And it did this in other sports games. They did this for the longest time for Nintendo. You get used to playing a baseball game and you press on a direction pad towards the base that you want to throw it to, and you press the A button. And if you want to steal it, you press the B button. And most baseball games in the NES followed these these commands, right? You go to a game on the Super Nintendo, now there's 4 face buttons, and they're in a diamond, just like the baseball diamond. They switch it, and they did. This is the time when they change it, and it actually comes out to the best. Now you have to press the top button goes to second base, the one on the right goes to first, the one on the bottom goes to the catcher. So basically, the face buttons were in the direction of the base pads, and it took me a minute to get used to it, but once I did, it actually worked out being better. With this one here with Assassin's Creed, I thought they made the controls worse because something that used to be 1 button now is 2 buttons. That type of stuff, and it's like it just throws you off. So yeah, that's one of my pet peeves of what companies do is when they decide to to overhaul the control scheme.
Well, I'm going to build off that for a second because I'm not going to leave it at a game company. I'm going to leave it at a system manufacturer that does that. Nintendo. When I play a game in Steam, press the A button. Okay, the A button's a bottom down one. Or PlayStation, press the X button. Okay, that's the bottom down one. Nintendo Switch, press the A button. Okay, no, you press the B button.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I gotta-
You're right, and then you have to hit the A button to agree with stuff, and it throws you off if you haven't been doing it for a while. Yeah.
And the worst is if you have the game, say like on one system, Steam or PlayStation, you also have it on Switch, and they literally switch the buttons for the Nintendo Switch version.
Okay, so I use a Mac and I use a Windows machine, and I edit on both of them. I edit like art stuff is done on the Mac, but like I have other stuff that like my personal stuff that I edit. I do that on my other machine because that's where all my movies are. And I use the same keyboard though. In order for me to do stuff in the editing software in DaVinci, I use the Alt button in whatever I want to do in Windows or no in Macintosh. But when I'm in Windows, I have to use Control and not the Alt button. So I have to have also the mouse. The way the mouse scrolls is different in both operating systems. So I have to like compartmentalize my brain to know what computer I'm on, to know what buttons do what.
Yep.
And it's like, I shouldn't need to do that though for 2 games that are in the same series.
And the bad part of that is if you get mixed up and you press the wrong button, you find out you pressed the wrong button on the question, do you want to initialize your save data?
Yeah. Well, see here, if I hit the wrong button on my setup now, it'll just make a sub clip. And the sub clips, I at one point I was doing a video. I was working on my Windows machine. I had like 16 sub clips because I kept hitting Alt instead of hitting Command or instead of hitting Control. So,
All right, you ready for the next one?
yep.
Okay, so this is where we're about to get some serious thumbs down. We're going to anger a lot of people.
Finay Fantasy. Oh,
Yep, Finay Fantasy.
Finay Fantasy.
This is a fantastic game, Finay Fantasy. I love it. Let's talk about Final Fantasy VII. So, the Final Fantasy series is very well known for doing this is your opportunity to get this specific item or this specific weapon. However, the moment you go to this other location, that's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that anymore.
I don't like games where you have to do something special in order to get 100% up. Like,
Hold on.
okay, well, not like, but
Hold on, Ben. Hold on.
time sensitive, I should say.
Ben, hold on, because Final Fantasy VII does something that blows it all out of the water.
Okay.
So there is a materia you get in this game called the enemy skill materia. It's basically blue magic. So if you get hit, if you have this enemy skill materia set on your character and you get hit by a spell, the enemy skill materia will learn it. Now, there is a specific skill in this game that you have one chance to get. Now, I'm not talking you get it from a boss. And if you don't get it from the boss, you reset it, you go back and you have to go through the whole boss fight again, and hopefully you get it. No, 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 no. This is an enemy skill that you get in the very last dungeon from a standard monster. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be hard to get because you can run into this monster multiple times. However, this monster, the very first time you face it, it will throw out this spell that it hits everybody, and you have 4 enemy skill materia. It will hit everybody, and the enemy skill material will learn it. However, if you do not have the enemy skill materia on, you cannot learn it. Now, the next thing you're going to say is, okay, just reset the game and do it again. You can't do that. The game registers that spell was already cast, even if you reset the game. So it'll never appear again. So the only way to get it, if you don't have any enemy material on, or if you didn't have all 4 of them on, is to start from the very beginning of the game as a new game, go all the way through the game to the end, get down to one of the very last levels in the last dungeon, and make sure you have your enemy skill material on when you meet that monster, so that it can cast it again for the only one time in the game that spell ever shows up, and get it that time.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That is insanely stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't agree with that one. It's like there's that one X-Men game that's for like the Genesis where you literally have to like reset your system in order to get the game to get to the last stage or something like that.
Mhm.
And like that's even to me like just stupid. It should be in the game. Anytime also like where you can get stuck somewhere and you actually get like legitimately stuck. You know what I mean? Like you're stuck in the game and there's no way to get out of it. There's no way to get out.
Yeah,
That's bad game design.
that's very bad game design. Yes.
Yeah, you'll never find a Nintendo game where they put you in that type of situation. A Nintendo developed game. Because they have game testers.
Yes.
They take this seriously. So
Here's what I want to do really quick is, I know, Barrett, I know you played Final Fantasy VII, right?
Yep.
Have you played all the way through Final Fantasy VII?
I mean, I beat it, but I never bothered to 100% any of these games.
Okay. Did you know about this certain spell?
No, I didn't even bother with that kind of stuff.
If you would have bothered and you found out you didn't get it, what would Barrett do at that point?
I probably wouldn't have cared because it sounds like it was an end game thing.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been an earlier in the game thing, a thing that I could have gotten and then used, and it might have been useful like all throughout or whatnot, I'd have been very pissed.
But if you wanted to be a completionist and you found that out and it's that end game, how would you have handled that at that point?
I'd have just got rid of the game.
That's what I was expecting. That's the I am not disappointed with that answer.
Yeah. I wouldn't even bother to like sell it on Craigslist or anything. I'd literally just give it to the next person I saw.
See, I was thinking that maybe you were going to get a hammer. And then,
I mean, okay, so I've done that once in my life. And this doesn't quite, like, for the hammer, it's got to be more of a moral thing.
okay. Gotcha. All right. On that note, Barrett the Hammer is up.
Okay, so my next thing is bullet sponge difficulty. Can't stand it. I hate it when the designer's solution is, okay, well, we'll just make it so that this enemy takes up like 800 rounds before going down.
Hmm.
And not just for bosses, but like, well, I mean, for any enemy, right? Like, even like, it's especially irritating when it's like a game where the regular enemies will take like 2 full clips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hate that.
Mhm.
And especially when it doesn't even make sense. Like there's occasionally where it makes sense, like Dead Space. I love that game. And it makes sense for that one because like the like possessed, former humans that have been like corrupted into demon monster things that you fight, like
Mhm.
they're no longer normal humans. Like you basically have to completely tear them, like almost disintegrate them. Right. So I get why they take a lot of shocks, but also the game is good about making it so that you don't necessarily have to like fully finish them. You can like blow off their limbs. So then like they might not be like dead, but they can't come after you.
Mhm.
And that's a way that you could save ammo and still, run past them, right? And so I got really good at doing it in that game. So that game I could give it a pass. But then there's a lot of games where it's just like a normal shooter game and
Mhm.
like they're not even armored enemies. They're like regular like dudes and stuff, but they like take like 2 full clips.
Yeah.
Like, why? What is going on here?
Well, that's the whole. I want to say, what's that game that's really super hard? Dark Souls. That's the whole Dark Souls thing, especially that's been bleeding into Metroidvanias. Is
Mm.
this whole bullet sponge or whatever you want to call it, sword sponge bosses, and sometimes regular monsters that you have to do like everything perfect and hit them 50 million times just to beat them. And guess what? That's the first boss.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously there are people out there. There's a, it's a big deal, right? Like I get that, but it's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, I don't mind a game that can be a challenge, but when the option of challenge is basically we just increase the health by 70 times what it was, that's not making a challenge. That's just being a D-bag.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, give me something like, well, that's why I brought up the Dead Space, right? Where like they worked it into the story, like
Yeah.
it makes sense in the context of it. But then also they give you a clever gameplay option where like you don't have to just soak all your ammo into it. In fact, you don't get enough ammo to do that in the game, right? Instead, they're like, well, you could disable them and just run away, which is also fitting because it's a horror game, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'm like, there you go. Like they get a golf clap for that. I'm like, they found a way to make it very, very, very difficult, but
Mhm.
like also it makes sense and it's more fair.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'll make a confession on this right now, is that if your game does this, my first instinct is to go to Wiimod. And if it does, your game does not show up on Wiimod, my second instinct is to now put you on my list on Steam of not needed games and uninstall you.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Hmm.
all right, Ben.
I'm kind of still on this whole thing of like games that where you gotta pay after you already got it to play more of it. Where it's like there's still this DLC you gotta get, or can't wait to see what you're putting in for this.
You got to keep paying to play it.
That's why I never got into World of Warcraft, but yeah, that's like one of the things too is like they keep releasing expansions for it. And like Sims is like this too, where like you're constantly like they're just milking it over and over and over and over again. And I understand like people who are into it, but I was talking more about like games where they have like constantly have like downloadable content where you get like
Oh, I got one for that one. Thank you.
okay.
Constantly giving downloadable content. You want all the outfits? Get ready to pay over $1,000.
They had one where they were like, in order to get the characters, it was like it was a fighting game too, or like like you could play like for like 5 characters for free, and then I think it was a Street Fighter game where they give you like 5 characters or something, and then if you wanted to add more, you had to like buy them.
That's Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive did that.
Oh, Dead or Alive did that. I thought Star
Yep.
Troopers or Jupiter did that too.
Well, that they may have. Well, I don't know if Street Fighter did it, but other fighters have done that. But Dead or Alive was Dead or Alive 6 came out as the full version, and then they backed down to the 4-character core set, and then you buy the characters on top of that. But then there's the outfits if you want to get the outfits and all the stages or whatever. Everything's like a DLC. So it's just basically pick and choose what you want in your game.
Mm. Which I guess I can kind of see like why some people would be into that because you don't want everything. But I mean, I guess it depends on the price. I mean, like if they gave it like, okay, we'll give you the base game engine for free, and then every character you want's like $1, maybe. But because there's no people like you play a fighting game and you're always the same character anyway. So what do you need the other ones for? As long as you can still fight all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they like go suck and be like, okay, you have 5 characters and you will only face 4 other people every time you play.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't mind buying the characters as opponents that I'm gonna face. But the characters are usually not like $1. I'm gonna try to do something here, and hopefully this will work. So Dead or Alive 6. Let's take a look at see all the content for this game. This is all the Dead or Alive 6 content. So if you want to buy all of it, I think there's a way that says buy all, where's the cost for all the content together? Don't they have that listed somewhere? Oh no, I'm sorry. This is only 200 of 461. So we're not even
400, all 461.
Yeah, so don't they have a thing where it's like buy it all?
Go up. Go to the categories. They're the category I wanted to see. Nudity.
461.
All 461.
All 461 are tagged as nudity. So, but I thought there was something where it was like, like
no.
all the DLC,
Yeah.
but I guess it doesn't have that anymore because this game broke it.
How about the digital deluxe edition? Where does that come with? That's $80.
Digital Deluxe Edition comes with barely anything. It comes with a game and one character, one costume, 25 costume set, and songs. So that's probably like one of those one character, so that's gonna save you like $8. One costume, so that's gonna be $2. A costume set, here's a costume set, $15. And then who cares about the songs? Do people really get the songs and then download them and like, I'm gonna put this on my Spotify list or something,
If you have Spotify, it might be on there already. It's like, yeah, I like it if the music's like kind of thrown in as a bonus and you're not, but the pay for it, no, unless it's like a really good soundtrack, which I don't know what the Dead or Alive music sounds like. So
It sounds like fighting. I don't know. I play it in silence. Who knows?
yeah, it's like I don't care. It's yeah, like what do you do? Like listen to the stage music while you're mowing the lawn,
Mm.
I can see you going out there and you're on the lawnmower and you're here like Giles theme.
Yeah. I didn't pick up that as Giles' theme until you mentioned it, and now I can hear it in my head.
Yeah, Giles theme because that's the one that's supposed to go with anything.
Gotcha. Yeah, they put that a lot with anything. All right, so let's do one more round, and then I think we're gonna call it.
Yeah, getting to be about done time. It's
Okay.
10 minutes past midnight here on the East Coast.
Okay, so mine, I'm gonna do a twofer again. And this is no way a bad game, but wow, I don't have the version that I'm looking for. The box art. There we go. This is gonna bring back some memories. Okay, so the twofer. The one is the first one. The actually shows it right on the box. Password pack. Okay, this game on the disc system had a save. The first unforgivable thing is by putting in the password, you had to save one energy tank before the very end of the game, because if not, you'd have to spend like an hour plus just killing things over and over just to get enough health to move on. And that's bad game design. But the unforgivable thing that this game does, and not only this game, a lot of games do, is congratulations, you just beat the boss. Now you have 99 seconds to get out of this location doing crazy jumps or going through a maze with dead ends, or the place blows up and you lose. And if you want to get the good ending, you have to beat the boss again. And then you got to do the timer exit again and get it perfect this time. This is the kind of thing that, like, I want them to have a bad ending. Like, you don't make out in time, but you still get an ending where, like, you watch the world explode, and then, like, maybe your captain is looking over your gravesite and said, well, they saved the day, but too bad they didn't make it back. And it's like, bad ending. Play again to get the good ending, because you know what? A bad ending's an ending. And an ending means I'm done with your game.
Yep. It's like, what was your favorite part of the movie? Oh, when the screen went black and all those words started scrolling up it.
Yes. When you get that surprise timer exit, you're now under like this extreme pressure. Like, dude, I just went through this killer boss fight, and now I got to do these precision jumps and map out some maze level that I've never been in under a time limit. No, that sucks. It's like when they do the boss after the boss. Like, you just got finished with the boss, and they're like, sorry, we can't give you a save point. We're just going to have you fight another boss. This is the same thing.
Well, it's like when you're playing Ninja Gaiden.
Mhm.
Ninja Gaiden, and you go and you get to the last level, the last level in that. Every time you die, you start from the beginning of the last level, not from the chat or not. Actually, it's called a stage. You start from the beginning of the stage and not the level in the stage that you made it to.
Mm.
Because like all the other ones from the first, they call them acts. That's what it was. So acts 1 through 5, you'll start off in the stage of the act that you died in. You'll start, like, if you were one in 5-3, you'd start off in 5-3. When you make it to 6, which is the last act, it's now every time you die, you start off in 6-1.
Gotcha. So you start all the way from the beginning of that act.
Every single time. And it's like, it's annoying because it's like, it's the hardest level. Ninja Gaiden is hard as hell to begin with. To add in this just makes it ridiculous, because all you do is remember patterns. I beat Ninja Gaiden when I was a kid, and it was one of the things, like, I was playing at night, and then I paused it. I had to go to school the next day and just hope that the power didn't go out, and my mom didn't turn it off when she was cleaning. And I got home and it was still on, and then that's when I sat there and I repeated, and then I finally beat it, like, after like 2 hours of going through 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, dying in 6-3, 6-1, 6-2. Oh, I died in 6-2, 6-1, 6-2, 6-3. Made it all the way to the first boss. Thought it was the final guy. Make it to the final boss, and then he kicked my ass because I had no energy.
And yeah, and he had like one hit left, and you just couldn't get it in.
Exactly, shit like
Yeah.
that, and you just play it over and over and over and over again. And because you've started from 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, you start making stupid screw ups because you're trying to hurry.
Yeah.
You've been through this so many times. You think you know it well enough that you can hurry through it, but you don't, and you end up dying because you're rushing. Yeah,
I've got something that's actually worse than that I want to mention really quick. And then we're going to stop getting off topic. Time Soldiers in the arcade. I love the game Time Soldiers. But what this one did was, it's an arcade game. So anytime you die, put in a quarter to continue. Okay, well, obviously they want to keep making money, so they're going to kill you off fast, and you put a quarter to continue. When you get to the last area in the game, guess what you can do? You can't continue. As soon as you die, game over. So,
all right.
all right. So, Barrett,
All right. So my last one is when companies leave it to modders to fix their game. Bethesda is a prime example of that.
Okay, I'm getting one that I know has been modded pretty heavily.
Yeah.
This was a good choice.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, basically everything after Morrowind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking Skyrim, but I thought maybe this one would work.
Yeah. 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 So there you go. Like Oblivion is a great example, right? Where it's just like the myriad problems in this, right? Like the game is broken as fuck. And it's so broken that, all right, so you guys might have heard that they had the remake, right? That came out like earlier this year. And the remake is still broken. Like they literally redid the game and re-released it at full price, like 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still it's like 8,000 bugs. Like there's quests that you could just get completely blocked out of, and like you get soft locked out of like where you can't even complete things and stuff, and like crazy bizarre things and like stuff that's not supposed to happen. Like I got locked out of the whole Dark Brotherhood quest line because of a glitch.
Wow.
And it's like, now granted they might have changed it so modders, they might have opened up modding for the remaster or whatever, or the redo, but I know that like they left it for modders to fix the original one, right? And you had to like download all these patches and stuff to try to like deal with all the bugged quests and shit, and it's just like, really guys, really?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna actually post two games that kind of fit that description that have not been fixed in remakes or releases. Here's the first one. I'm sure you heard the nightmares about that one. I don't know if, well, at least I don't know if it's this specific game, but it's within this series.
Yeah.
And then there's also the remake of this specific certain game series that is chock full of issues.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So-
and it's only been re-released like a million times.
Mhm.
It's like, do you have Grand Theft Auto 5 on your system? No. Hold your system. Like, it's on everything.
I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on my NES.
There probably is a NES version.
Yeah, there's probably a demake of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like people demake a lot of stuff, and that's yeah for NES. I know there's like somebody who did a version of Mortal Kombat 2 that actually was really I didn't play it, but I was watching somebody online play it, and it looked really good.
You want to know what's a banger? Is the demake, the Atari 2600 demake version of Halo. It's not really like following Halo. It's because it's Atari version, but it is sweet. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I heard it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so that leaves you, Ben. Last one.
Last one. So I had two different things I was thinking about, but I don't think I'm gonna go with actually so we were just talking about like games that are that need repairs. Let's talk about the other option I had, which was when they release a game, when they throw a series title on it and the game has nothing to do with the genre the original title's from. So
Like a different, completely different style.
yeah, it's like it's a completely different game, and they just like they wanted to they just like it's in the same universe or has like some of the same characters or something, but they just throw the name on there.
Okay, I got your game right there. How's that one? Does that fit what we're talking about?
Well, the Mario sports titles are actually pretty fun, but yeah, I guess. I mean, if you're expecting it to be a Mario game, I can see you getting upset about
Yeah, well, you know. If you got a better example, throw it at me.
that. I'm trying to think of one. It's getting late here though.
Mario Tennis it is. Keep going.
Tennis, yes. You know, here I am. I'm expecting it to be like Mario at a tennis court fighting Koopa Troopas, but no, he's at a tennis court playing tennis. I don't go with the other one. I hate it when these games come out with first day downloadable stuff that you need in order to make the game work.
Oh yeah.
And that's become more and more of an issue
Mhm.
where games come out incomplete and they have to have that first day patch in order for it to work properly. It does like that. I expect it. And here's the thing, I expect it now.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. It's like I get surprised if a game just works. And it's awful, and it's been going on for years, and I thought at first it might have been, like, something like, "Okay, that's only for this generation, and they're gonna realize that people hate this shit, and they'll fix it." No, it never got better.
Yeah.
So,
It's the whole rush to market.
yeah, and it's gonna kill me. And you could put any modern day game up for that, and it'll fit the example because it's like it's all of them.
Yeah. Sad thing though, I mean, there's so many moving parts to games these days. I mean, it's not like it was in NES days, where it's just something simple. Now
Well, there's screw ups in the nest days,
Yeah.
but you would never know about it unless somebody told you that, like, there's, 2 different cartridges for Super Mario Brothers 3 because they screwed up on something.
Well, I mean, you look at Final Fantasy on NES. There were so many bugs and errors with that game that people are discovering these bugs and errors. What spells don't work, what spells backfire, and like do the opposite of what they're supposed to do. The whole bug with running and who the stat really affects, and those are unfixable until now when it's in a ROM format. But when you're a kid, you didn't even realize this stuff, and you just kept going.
Yeah, you just figured that maybe the boss guy in this game doesn't know how to speak proper English, which is why he said your base now belonged to me. You know,
Yeah.
maybe that's the way he spoke. That's how he is. Nope, it was an error. But yeah, it's really bad the state now where you literally can't also like there's games that you can't even start until you get the update, and then if you do try to start it, it kicks you offline. Games like that. And it's in the system itself too. If you get like a PlayStation update, you can't go on the PlayStation Network until you update that machine.
Yeah.
Like, what if you want to play something right now and you only got like 20 minutes? You must spend that whole 20 minutes updating your machine,
Mhm.
you know? And then they go, just leave it on and have it update all the time. Okay, you pay my electric bill.
Yeah. Well, how about you take it a step further and we say, awesome, I want to play this single player offline game. And you boot it up, it's like, no internet connection detected, exiting game.
Yep, that too.
Yeah.
Or you get these games and like it's like Call of Duty's like notorious for this, where the online or the single player game is like 2 minutes long because they want you to play. You're supposed to be playing online against other people.
Mhm.
Like it's literally like the single player game is literally there to mostly train you how to play the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things I think that's a pet peeve that everybody kind of has with it is that you got to deal with. Oh yeah, I got this brand new game. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. There's an hour-long download I have to do in order to do it.
It could be a pet peeve, but it still makes it unforgivable.
And it's I think and I'm not alone on that. There's a ton of people who have complained about this very issue and how it's getting worse. It's not getting better. Your internet speed's getting faster, which is probably making it less of a hassle in certain situations, but that doesn't mean like, you don't mind it. Like, oh, it downloads and it only takes a minute. Yeah, but that's a minute why am I spending this minute? I paid money for this.
Mhm.
It's not like you gave me this for free.
Well, I don't know if you heard about this one, but Microsoft Flight Simulator, the most recent flight simulator, if you order it through Steam, you have to download the whole game. It takes more than 2 hours just to download the game through the Microsoft servers, which means that you cannot return the game. So if you have any issues, or if you're just not unhappy with it, the whole time it was registering you playing it where you're just downloading the game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they did that on purpose.
Well, yeah, and also like anybody who's getting Flight Simulator, they usually like they're people who there's a type of person who would get Flight Simulator, and that's not me insulting. I'm just saying like there's people who are really into the game. They have like the whole setup and everything. So they're gonna get it, but nobody's gonna want to try it.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, it is free if you have the Game Pass, and that's how I've played Flight Simulator. I played it through Game Pass, but
Mm.
I don't think I would like actually like I tried it. I couldn't get into it.
Mhm.
And it's just Game Pass. Not Game Pass, but Flight Simulator is like it's too much.
Mhm.
I'm looking to just have a good time. This thing here, I have to learn like how an aircraft works.
I think that I think that'd be really cool. I have like X-Plane,
Yep.
and I've taken off and landed in planes, and because I legitimately would love to fly. I would love to learn how to fly an actual aircraft.
Yeah.
So, but I recognize like the average gamer isn't going to have fun with this because it's very technical. It's there to teach you how to do it.
It was like a Tuesday afternoon. I'm at work and I'm talking to I'm talking to the pastor, my boss, and he's like telling me how he had a meal. Like I asked him if he wanted to go get something to eat, and he went and said, "Oh, I went and ate up in Vermont." And I'm like, "How the hell did you get to Vermont? Like Vermont's like a couple hours away. It's like a 4-hour drive." And he tells me that one of the guys at the church is a flight instructor, and he took the pastor up to go in the plane, and they flew up to Vermont to go get lunch.
Nice.
And I'm like, yeah. I was watching somebody was talking about that today. It's like how it's so much better nowadays than it used to be. Like just travel is so much easier.
That's true. Oregon Trail taught us how hard it is to travel back in the days.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like just like I went to go see you for Memorial Day, right? Like it would have took me I would have to leave now to get there for Memorial Day.
Well, if you left, you wouldn't get here because if you ever played Oregon Trail, you'll know that your whole family dies on the way and then you die eventually afterwards.
Yep. All because you made it for dysentery, man.
All right, so I think it's time to close this out. I am gonna sneak one in really quick just because I think you'll both agree with me here. Picture this: you ate Taco Bell, you're playing the game, you gotta take a dump, and guess what? The game has no pause feature.
Yeah.
That one's unforgivable.
Yeah.
And I have thumbs down games on Steam just off of that. So
Oh, I get that.
so anything left you guys want to say?
Nope.
All right, Ben. I believe we should probably give the last word to Barrett. How do you feel about that?
There, you got it.
Yeah. I had a great time talking about this. A great time hearing your guys' examples, and yeah, I agree.
But as we mean like a single solitary.
We need one word.
Oh,